Hi, Peter Walker here and welcome to today's edition of the Transition Guide, where we are going to be covering the default diary. This is a follow-on from the Stephen Covey's Time Matrix edition, so make sure that you've covered that first. So we're back on time, and the first question I'm going to ask you as business owners and entrepreneurs is, do you have a robust diary in place? i.e., do you have set times for set things? The chances are the answer to that is no. In fact, you most probably operate a very inefficient diary without even realizing it, because guess what? Most people do. And the reality is that means you don't make the best use of your time. And then you wonder why you don't have time. So we take the Covey matrix. What did we look at? We looked at eliminating the stuff you shouldn't be doing. Now we need to look at the stuff that you should be doing it and boxing it so we are most efficient. Now, how often do you sort of do a task and live in the world of interruptions? Because that's the reality. The world we live in today is full of interruptions. Whether it's our team interrupting us, whether it's our phone interrupting us, whether it's our inbox interrupting us. The reality is we constantly get interrupted. And the reality is, imagine this, you're doing a task and it takes you a little while to really become in flow with that task. And when I mean in flow, actually doing it at a really proficient level. And then someone comes and they interrupt you. You then stop doing that task, you deal with the interruption, and then you try and go back to that task. How long does it take you to pick up where you left off? Well, if you're a woman, it's going to be quite quick. If you're a man, it'll be anything between 10 and 15 minutes. Because the way that we get back into our flow is different to the way a woman gets back into her flow. And we'll cover that in a second. So if you've got 10 or 15 interruptions a day, and it takes you 10 or 15 minutes to get back into flow, you're losing hours a day. You're losing a day a week. Is that efficient? Absolutely not. So why is it that women can hit their flow a lot quicker than men? Well, let's look at the brain. So we all know that within the brain we've got two sides of it. We've got the left and the right hand side. Yeah, left's for logic, right's for emotion, etc. What most people don't look at is how the brains are connected. The two sides are connected, and really with the women, what you tend to find is that they have a greater concentration of pathways crossing and connecting the two sides of the brain as opposed to men. And really this has been done deliberately. So if you go back to our sort of old programming, back in the day when we weren't so civilized as we are today, and you look at how men used to behave, what was the primary function of a man? Was to go out there, hunt and provide and protect. That's simple. Now you can go to a major town city on a Friday, Saturday night and you'll still see protect, hunt in action. The provide's probably missing. So, and this is the reason why women, they're very good at multitasking. If you go back to sort of the programming that we used to have from sort of thousands of years ago, women were very much the carers of the family. They were looking after the youngsters, and you can imagine they had to make sure that the youngsters stay safe, etc. In order to do that, they need to be able to concentrate and focus on more than one thing at once. Hence the ability to multitask. Whereas men, we had it really simple. You had to go and hunt. What does that mean? Well, you needed really great spatial awareness. You needed to have great peripheral vision. You needed to know what was going on around you. That's why when you look at it, men have got very good spatial awareness. It's nothing to do with between the sexes. All it is to do with the way the brain is wired. So men, take comfort in this. When you get told that you can't multitask, it's thousands of years of programming. You're not designed to multitask. That's never going to change. Ladies, stop telling men they can't multitask. They know this. They've known this for thousands of years. It ain't ever going to change. And the reality is, again, the way our brains are wired does really affect the way that we work. As I said to you before, we operate in an environment of massive distractions. It's very intrusive. You think about our days, we get interrupted, huge interruptions, whether it's our team interrupting us, whether it's our email. I mean, email's a horrific interruption. How often do you see yourself hearing the word ping, and then you're checking your phone? Is it an email message? Is it a text message? The phone rings. Yes, always start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. You can never get any traction. And the reality is, when you start to do a task, it takes you a little while to get into that task and pick up that momentum, pick up that flow. As soon as you get interrupted and you go and deal with something else, how long does it take you to get back to that level of efficiency where you left off? Most of the time it's 10 or 15 minutes. And you can imagine if you've got 7 or 8 interruptions a day, and that's me being generous, because we've got far more than 7 or 8, the chances are you're losing 2 or 3 hours a day through interruptions and inefficient working, which is a day and a half to 2 days a week before you know it. So really, if you want to start operating in a more efficient manner, you've got to change the way you work. And that's where the default diary comes in, is actually starting to say, how do I zone my days? How do I zone my weeks? How do I start to be more structured? So for most of you, zoning your diary is going to be a bit of an alien concept. So bear with me and just kind of play along and see how you may be able to start looking at your business and looking at how you can zone your diary. So you take your hours. Most business owners are in at 7 in the morning, some 6, some that have really got a lot on their mind at 5. 5 to 6, you'll be lucky if you finish then, sometimes at 6 or 7, etc. And how does your day normally go? Normally you deal with whatever comes. The only structure may be where you've got meetings or you're seeing a customer or anything. Apart from that, anything goes. So you've got to start thinking, as a business owner, what is my job? What do I need to do? So let me look at it from a coach's perspective and how I deal with things. So as a coach, I get in, and I normally get in at 6. Why do I get in at 6 or half 5? I'm an early person. And what's the first thing I do? Okay, between 6 and 7, I'm clearing my emails, I'm just getting myself ready for the week ahead. 7 to 8 I coach, 8 to 9 I coach. Why do I coach so early in the morning on a Monday? Is I need to be ready for the week ahead. None of this let me get over the weekend. It means that at 7 o'clock I'm on stage, I have to be on my game. My clients will not put up with me being off my game. Then you've got 9 to 10, 10 to 11. That tends to be team meetings every single week. We never change that. I never move that. That's there set in stone. How often do you have stuff that you have set in stone that you allow to drift because other stuff comes in? No. That's for my team. I don't do anything else but spend time with them. If I get phone calls and everything, I will deal with it later. Then I coach, lunch, coach. You've seen that I'm coaching back to back. The reason that I coach back to back is simple. I'm in that coaching zone. If I'm in that zone, it's very easy for me then to coach the next person and the next person after that. That's all I'm thinking about coaching. It'd be far more difficult for me to be doing a little bit of coaching than thinking, okay, I've got an hour spare, let me do some marketing. Because then I've got to get in my head into marketing. By the time I get my head into marketing, it's going to be some time already gone. I then got to get my head back into coaching. Inefficient. Then the Tuesdays, I tend to coach back to back, nothing else. Okay, let's say I have one for lunch, so we put lunch there. And then Wednesday as well, I'm just coaching clients. And that allows me Thursday and Fridays to either do days where I'm in the studio. So if I'm doing videos, I will do 6 or 7 videos back to back. Why do I do that? Because I'm in the video zone. If I'm out seeing prospective clients, I will do that on a Thursday or Friday. If I'm doing strategic workshop days, they will be a Thursday or Friday. I've got immense structure to my diary. Now, I don't expect you to go from 0 diary to a fully structured diary overnight. But you've got to start thinking, all right, well, how can I be a little bit more efficient? So it may well be that some of you that are out there as owners, you're doing the sales calls. Very often what will happen, a customer will say, I need to see you on such and such a day. Yeah, no problem. I will drop everything else and go see the customer. You don't respect your time. You see, what you've got to put yourself down is you've got to become your own customer. And you've got to say, as a business owner, there are going to be these things I need to do. Because the reality is, if I'm coaching on these days and a prospective client says to me, can you meet me on these days? Am I going to say to my clients, sorry, I can't coach you today. I need to go and see a prospect. Can we move our diary? Can I coach you another time? That ain't going to happen. My client's time are my client's time. And 9 times out of 10, if you actually said to someone that was a prospective client or a customer, sorry, I am busy that day. I've already got my appointments booked. I'm free these days. Do you know what? They will say, yeah, not a problem. But we have in our head that, no, we have to do everything now. So you go back to the Covey sort of time matrix, we are reactive, reactive, reactive. You can't do that anymore. You've got to start thinking, I need to take control of my diary, I need to take control of my life. So start putting in zones. Have afternoons maybe. So twice or 3 times a week if you've got a lot of appointments. Do maybe on one day a whole morning and then maybe 2 afternoons. Split it up. Make sure you have time for your marketing. Make sure you have time for your training of your team. Make sure you have time to do your admin stuff, to do your marketing and all of the other things that business owners need to do. So you put the time in. If you don't block it out, remember the rocks? If you don't schedule it in and put it in your diary, other rubbish will take its place. You will never be in control. You will never take the business to A, where you wanted to go when you first started a business, and B, where the business can go. That's it for today, and remember, failing to learn is learning to fail.